Starting June 1st, MAVCOM will compel all airlines to advertise the final price of the airfare, including hidden charges like administrative fees and credit and debit card payment charges. This is after the aviation regulator amended the Malaysian Aviation Consumer Protection Code 2016, which now requires all carriers to publish the base fare as well as all other charges imposed by the airlines and government-imposed taxes and fees in advertising and promotion materials and at points of sale. This final price will also include fuel surcharge. According to MAVCOM Executive Chairman Dr. Nungsari Ahmad Radu, charges for optional services purchased by a consumer on an opt-in basis should also be displayed and included in the final price at point of payment. Another amendment calls for passengers to be reimbursed within 30 days from the date of the request for a refund. The refund must include passenger service charges and other taxes, charges and fees for both refundable and non-refundable tickets. Datin Sri Rosmah Mansor will now have to declare her assets before her trial for 17 counts of money laundering is heard. The KL High Court dismissed today her application to strike out a notice for her to declare her assets, saying she should not be afraid that her defence will be affected or that the information she gives in the asset declaration notice will be used against her in respect of these charges. It ruled that her argument that she would be precluded from a right to a fair trial is therefore speculative and unmeritorious, and said her claim to a right to silence and privilege against self-discrimination is a right that will be accorded to her during a trial and does not extend to a pre-trial process. Petronas Chemicals Group announced a 25% tumble in first quarter earnings to 802 million ringgit, squeezed by lower revenue and higher OPEX relating to maintenance activities. For the quarter under review, revenue contracted by 16.6% to 4.1 billion ringgit, amid an overall decline in petrochemical product prices and lower sales volumes as production volume fell. PetChem explains plant utilization had dropped to 95% versus 100% in the corresponding quarter. The group had commenced its first statutory plant turnaround and undertook maintenance activities as well. Commenting on the performance, PetChem's MD and CEO Datuk Sezali Hamzah says that while the market remains competitive, demand for petrochemical products is expected to grow in tandem with stable GDP growth within the Asia-Pacific region. Its immediate focus is to optimize production, manage costs, and ensure timely project delivery. As for the progress of PetChem's growth projects, Sezali says the group's new plants at the Pengeran Integrated Complex are at 98.3% completion as of April 2019, and it remains on track to start commercial operations in the fourth quarter of this year. Malaysia's headline inflation remained mild in April, with the benchmark consumer price index rising 0.2% from a year earlier, slightly below market expectations of a 0.4% increase. This was mainly due to the lower prices of fuel and goods and services, while price inflation of food and non-alcoholic beverages remained stable. UOB Research said in a note today that despite expectations for headline inflation to trend higher in the second half, full-year inflation is seen remaining subdued at 1.5%. It points out that the government is due to introduce the fuel subsidy mechanism for low-income earners by June and is estimating a petrol subsidy of around 40 cents per litre when Brent oil prices hover at $70 per barrel. Time.com says first quarter net profit inched up by 0.3% to 63.1 million ringgit on the back of a 14% jump in revenue to 262.5 million ringgit. The telco said this was due to higher sales recorded from all its core product segments, led by its data and data center businesses. Growth in revenue was also contributed by all customer groups, led by retail, as a result of continued demand for its Time Fibre home broadband service. Moving forward, Time says it aims to improve its existing domestic fibre network infrastructure while expanding its coverage footprint. It will also continue to work with its partners in Thailand, Vietnam and Cambodia to create a seamless regional telecommunications network connecting Indochina to Malaysia and Singapore. Times Commander-in-Chief Afzal Abdurrahim says the initiatives the group put in place will help it to weather a challenging 2019 while it looks towards securing future growth.